Hi, everybody. Mr. Cannon back again with your next Senior Project Screencast. This week we're talking about the outside expert, or OE. And I can say with conviction that this is probably the most frustrating aspect of Senior Project for the great majority of seniors at Bedford High School. Finding an outside expert and keeping an outside expert. And that is the focus of this screencast. But before we get into that, I just want to say real quick that there are two assignments associated with the outside expert. In quarter two, there is an agreement form that needs to be filled out, signed, and uploaded to your SPOP. There is a log that is attached to that, but that log is not due until quarter four with the final evaluation. So there's two assignments, so make sure you are on top of that. Okay, let's get to the outside expert. Now, an outside expert, someone who will help you throughout your senior project journey. And you need to think very carefully about who would make a good outside expert and why. And the first and probably most important thing there is, will this person be able to help you for the long term? That is key. In terms of why we ask you to get an outside expert, if you are learning a skill or you have new knowledge that your senior project is giving you, it helps to have an expert in that field who has that knowledge that you can bounce ideas off of, ask them the questions, help you get past the stumbling blocks, or just help you complete the project. And so the outside expert serves all of those roles. In terms of the criteria that the outside expert must have, these are this list of 5. They must be an expert in the field or the topic and agree to meet with you on a regular basis. If they live far away and most of their expertise can be sort of gleaned from things like emails and telephone conversations, that's fine. We do ask that they're 21 years old, and that's for liability reasons. We do not want your OE to be a family member. And the reason that we don't want it to be a family member is because the relationship we want between you and your outside expert should be a professional one. And that's part of the goal here. So that's why we don't want it to be a family member. And in order to save community members from potentially being asked to supervise a number of Bedford High School students, we've restricted it to 1. So if you ask someone to be an outside expert for you and they're already providing that expertise to another student, they can't be your OE as well. This is the issue that most students have. They have a project, they have no idea who their OE could be or should be, and they can't find one, and they feel stuck. So we're going to help you get through that. The first thing that you should do if you can't think of who should be your OE is ask somebody. Ask people to help you think maybe outside the box and brainstorm a little bit. So here are some people you can ask for help finding an outside expert. You can ask your family. You can ask friends of your family. Hey, I'm looking for someone who's an expert in this. Do you know anybody? Friends, parents. If in your family and friend circle that doesn't yield anything, you can always go to the greater community. If you know people in the community or you're comfortable posting things in the community, you can ask the greater Bedford community. You can go to the town council, and they have all sorts of civic groups that they can sort of put you in contact with, and you can go to the library and look at the bulletin boards and things there. Certainly, you can ask teachers at school, but probably the most valuable resource in terms of teachers at Bedford High School would be Mrs. Woods. And she's the Dean of Alternative Programs, and she has moved out of the Academic Center, and she's got a new office. It's room C114, and if you are in Bulldog Corner and you head down towards the fax rooms or towards the music rooms, the room is, her office is on the left just before you get to that music hallway, sort of tucked right there. And if you're walking by quickly, you might just miss it. So it's C114. And Mrs. Woods, because she's the Dean of Alternative Programs, part of her job is to create and maintain connections between Bedford High School and the community of Bedford at large through both the adult education program, the continuing education opportunities we have at Bedford High School, as well as internships and real world learning. So, in terms of getting out into the community and making those connections, Miss Woods is an invaluable resource. So, please stop by. One of the issues with the outside expert is that it makes students feel a little bit uncomfortable, sort of going out on a limb and asking somebody that you may not know to commit to a pretty big deal with the senior project. And we know that that's difficult to make those connections, to talk to those people live on the phone or in their offices. But I gotta say, success in this world is based on your ability to communicate effectively with other people. And so that is a skill that we don't always get the opportunity to directly teach and encourage in a high school setting, but in senior project we do. And that's one of the reasons why we have senior project students find outside experts. So if that pushes you a little bit and makes you a little bit uncomfortable, then that's probably a good thing to push yourself beyond those comfortable limits. If your OE does not respond to you, you need to treat it like a professional relationship and treat it like business. Just be upfront with them. Let them know. If you don't let them know what the expectations are from the get-go, you can't hold it against them if they're not able to maintain them. So make sure they know those expectations up front. And if they agree to it but aren't meeting those expectations, don't be afraid to let them know that you either need them to commit further or you're going to have to find a new outside expert. And who knows, that might be better for both of you. But that's a decision, that's a tough decision that you're going to have to make. We think that, again, doing that sort of thing and having that experience makes you a stronger and more confident human being. And that's part of the motivation here. If you are still continuing to have issues either finding an outside expert or communicating with your outside expert, and you want to just troubleshoot that with somebody, certainly your senior project mentor is the first go-to, and the person who will be upstairs in room 346 for study hall is always there for help. If that fails, talk to Miss Woods, talk to anybody on the committee, or come find me, Mr. Cannon, signing off on the OE Screencast.